welcome to the stream chat. If you're not familiar with these, you probably are. I don't know. He does a little of everything, but I brought you on in particular as my GOAT, NFT bull, art bull, crypto punk bull, tapped into a little bit of everything. I don't want to like undersell you, but I feel like most is already said. People already know who you are. Like, what else would you add to an intro?
I don't know, dude. I'm just a moron who got lucky on the internet, who is, somebody who spends 12 plus hours a day online. Like that's really how I introduce myself. And then you can just think I'm an idiot and it's great. But I don't know how to introduce myself. Like it doesn't work.
That was perfect.
Just an idiot.
So July, 22nd, 2025. What are you spending most of your time doing right now? What are you most focused on?
Today was the first time in a while I was actually like looking at a bunch of NFTs I had forgotten about, seeing a lot of stuff I feel like I'm maybe a little too late to, but I put a couple WETH bids in and have been sitting looking at NFTs for like 3 hours today. Lately I've been, what?
What'd you bid on?
Dude, I don't want to say because they haven't hit.
No.
Like I got, here's a gross one. Had this bright idea. I wanted to buy like a couple of V1 punks. So I put out a bid and then immediately like the nastiest one got accepted and I just immediately floored it. Like I'm trying to make like 0.1 ETH. It's fucking disgusting. I don't want the punk that I got. That's one where the bid is hit. But we've been accumulating some stuff. We got a couple masks of Lucy over the last month and have been slowly buying stuff that I think is forgotten about but won't be forgotten about. We picked up a couple terraforms and shit over the last couple weeks.
What's the deal with the skulls? Why are they so expensive?
It's just, it's a group of 50 people who really believe in the artist behind them and they just don't want to sell it. Like a lot of the people are pretty attached to theirs. Most of the people who wanted to sell it have already sold it.
How many do you have?
Just one skull. The masks are the play I've been making more of because they're like 70s now. But they were 2.5 or whatever when they came out to participate in the masquerade, which was like the next thing Sam did. So there's significantly more masks. There's like 613 of them, where the skulls, there's only 50. But the skull cult's really strong. And I think if you spend time with Sam, like, everyone in the council, anyone who holds a skull they just absolutely adore him. And instead of taking $360,000 in cash or ETH, they would rather just hold the picture of the skull.
That's
my type of people, dude. My type of people that like the pictures. Like, it's like, do you want a house in Ohio or do you want a nice picture? It's like, take the picture.
I mean, there can't be that many NFTs that are fairly liquid for that price.
No, it's really like that and autoglyphs are
they
the
sell
two.
like they literally sell frequently.
Like, autoglyphs are I think 80 right now. Those are the, I guess you could count Lost Robbies or like rocks. I think rocks are hilariously stupid, but you see those. I think last week one went up for a loan on Gandhi, and it was a pretty substantial loan. And it's weird now, like the NFT market, a lot of the high-end stuff is actually on Gandhi, or it's out for loan with the ability to be sold on Gandhi. So it's like a new wrinkle in the market. You don't see as many high-end listings on OpenSea.
How awesome is it that we're talking about NFTs right now?
Great, dude. I mean, I love shit coins, but like, how many times can I tweet hot air risers, moggers mog? This rec drink is the best drink I've ever had, which it is. Bonk now. We have Bonk flipping pump, so now we have this pump token that's just sitting at basically ICO price while Bonk rips. And you got crazy. Bonk Guy, main character energy on the timeline where he's sending, he's not sending it by himself, but he's helping send shit like useless to 300 plus million.
He's pretty much sending it by himself.
He's got some help, but it's funny. Like, we always get these main characters, and when they start making calls, the market just turns off their brain and just buys it because, like, yeah, this is Jesus. Like, fuck, like he knows more than I do. We saw it with Shaw. It was the worst, I think, with Shaw.
That was the worst, man.
When we would have Shaw on alerts, and he would tweet like, "Wow, Dev's cracked," and then the token would go from like 2 million to 20 million.
Or it swarms. It says Dev's a scammer, and it goes to 400 mil.
Yeah, Dev's a scammer, and then he crashes out in the price.
How do you
What a
think
fun time.
you've seen a lot of main characters rise, fall, rise again, fall again. How do you think the Bonk Guy thing ends?
Probably with him making $50+ million and fucking off, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna end too badly. I know he like shills a lot of stuff, but he's also I feel like a little bit more well worded and thoughtful behind what he's typing. Like
Valid.
most of his takes or theses are easy to follow. It's not like a AI slot thesis that feels like you're just like reading somebody wax philosophical about how this piece of shit is gonna go to the moon. But he always has like some data and some I think like decent mental models around his theses. So I'm pretty. I'm a fan of Bonk Guy. I don't think anything's gonna happen too badly.
Yeah, I like that take.
What do you think? Like, do you think it's gonna end badly for? Like, I mean, what he's also not doxxed, so he also has that going for him, um, for better or worse.
I mean,
I
dude,
guess.
I almost feel that there is every like year or so you sort of just get gifted like a profit in the market, and they just have the sauce, and you sort of just should follow. Like we had
Dude, do you remember
Ansem,
Project 89?
of course, Parzival.
So that's up like 5x from the bottom over like 2 weeks or some shit, and that's like another Bonk Guy token that I have out on my list of just like
Oh, that's nuts. I didn't
it's
realize it
going
was
up
like that.
maybe because Bonk Guy talked about it.
It
The Messiahs though, man,
we get them. It's like we had
they're
Ansem,
different though.
we had
They're
Murad.
so Murad's still a Messiah, is he
He
not
is.
like
He's like the Messiah.
and SPX is almost $2. I mean, that just hit another new all-time high today.
Insane.
You
So
have
let me ask you
multiple
that.
main characters.
How have you before the NFT stuff? Like, how have you done leading up to this point? How have you done that so far this cycle? Like 2025,
Pretty
I would
good.
say.
I think I got a little distracted in December with like trying to find all the right meme coins, and then I got a little like behind just selling some soul and shit when it was like super high. Or going into the Trump launch for sure. I definitely should have
Yeah.
taken more profit. I had my like idea of what my tax bill would be, and then it was 25% higher than I thought it was gonna be. So I had to like
Uh,
start selling stuff in April, which feels terrible because if you look at any of the prices in April, like you did not want to be a forced seller then.
Brutal.
So other than that, that's been my biggest mistake. Honestly, the best trade I made was just probably the day after Thanksgiving, going home and buying hype. That
Oh my
and
god. What price did
holding
you buy
most
it
of
at?
it. What?
What price was it when you bought it?
$8. So I missed out on the
No.
first day. Came out at a weird time. It was like Black Friday morning or
It
like
was
the
a
night
really
of
weird day.
Thanksgiving.
It was at my parents'
Yeah.
house, yeah.
And I was sitting there talking to my dad, watching some, Pawn Stars or whatever the fuck we were watching. And then I just see it at like midnight or whenever everywhere. And I'm like, holy shit. And then I couldn't buy it on my phone because I didn't have funds with me. And, my dumbass doesn't bring my crypto shit to my families for Thanksgiving if I'm only going for a day. So it was just bad timing. But I got in at $8 and I held it. I bought more along the way too. So I was like buying more at 15 and 20 on the first run up. And now we just sell like 1% when Clemente gritties. Or it
Eh.
just feels. There's days when you open up the timeline and hype's up like $5 or something, and everybody's just tweeting about hype. And it's almost kind of tiresome. It's like, all right, like I'm just going to sell here. I think something that makes me better at selling is all these charts now, they all have like your green and red dots.
Yes.
So you just ask yourself, like, what a good buy and sell looks like on a chart, right? Like, you
Yeah.
can imagine where a good green dot and a red dot is. So when you see it pumping and the chart looks stupid, it's like you're probably not going to be too mad if there's a red dot there in a week or two. And I think as stupid as it sounds, like that way of framing buying and selling has made it better for me. Because I just imagine like what would a good chart look like? Like, oh, the price has been like consolidating here. Looks like it's bottomed. We're not making new lows. I'm gonna put a green dot here. And then when it's up 50% or 100% on the day and people are euphoric as shit, you just sell some.
That's actually it's actually so based.
It's like 60 IQ way of trading. It's like,
like
oh,
chart
like
chart physiognomy.
Yeah, and you're just managing your risk because like the price goes up, it's more attractive to sell and less attractive to buy in most scenarios. And red dot could look good here.
Non NFTs, what do you hold right now, like coin wise?
It's almost 50% hype now. It's grown a lot.
Whoa.
And then I actually tweeted a breakdown of it the other day before I sold the punk and got a little bit more ETH back, but it was something like let me just pull it up so I don't botch it. 41% hype, 23% Bitcoin, 12% Solana. And then under Solana was actually wrecked, which has grown a ton over the last month and 2 months actually. And now it's like 8% of my liquid crypto portfolio, which feels crazy. And then the rest is just like, less than 5% positions of like MOG. ETH is up a little bit now. It's probably somewhere around 5%, but mostly it was hype, Bitcoin, and Solana. And then if I trade shitcoins, like my size is like 25 grand. Like I'm not taking big swings at these. Like if it's a 10 mil market cap shitter that has a lot of attention, like the most I'm going to put in that's probably 25 grand.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Whereas like useless, I would have completely paper handed it if I even bought it. I would have put in 25 grand at 50 million and buy 100 million. I probably would have just been completely out.
How would you not have done that? Like, is what
I don't know. I didn't see it doing this, but I also didn't see Bonk as a launch pad flipping pump like that. For so long, I didn't invest in pump privately because I thought they wouldn't have a moat, and I thought that it would be easy enough to just like fork what they're doing with a lower fee and a better UX, because I didn't really think the like 4chan aesthetic they had was the best UX. And no one ever really did that for a long time. And now you have Bonk, which is getting a lot of attention and adoption, and it's interesting to see that thesis play out just like maybe a year later than I thought it would. A year later and like hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue later.
Chat likes your I don't trade shitcoins with big size, only 25K comment.
Well, yeah, it's all relative, right? Like if you're taking a position, I mean, I'm not buying like a 250K market cap shitcoin with 25K. Like 250K market cap shitcoin, I'll throw in like 5 SOL. So I'm not, it scales, but like, yeah, 25K is about the max.
I have a question for you. If you didn't want to sell your punk, why'd you list it?
Well, so I wanted to sell it at 44 because the floor was 40. And I thought to myself, originally the whole thesis behind that punk trade was I was buying this punk because it was less than 1 Bitcoin, and I thought punks would outpace Bitcoin just versus USD. It was like completely agnostic to what ETH would do. So I bought that punk as like my bet. And the other day when the floor was 40, I listed it at 44 thinking, this one's got a kind of a nice trade combo. Maybe someone will pay a little premium for it. If they do, I'll buy another floor. If not, like, I'll just leave it there and see what happens. And then you fast forward to yesterday, dude, and fucking my phone, I have the punks bot on alerts. So every time there is, any sale or a notable bid over 100 ETH, like my phone vibrates. And it's been like that for like 5 years. Like I'll probably live my whole life like that. But I started seeing, a bunch of sales come in. My phone was going crazy. I was playing a game of League of Legends, and I was like, fuck, like, okay, just, let me back in my spawn. And like, cause I got this thing on a fucking ledger. I got to run and do all this shit. So I send the transaction to cancel it as I see all these transactions coming in. And then I get the alert that says like, oh, your transaction failed. And like the block before my transaction failed, the person swept a fuckload of them. And I was just sitting there refreshing the page, looking at the floor. And I'm like, well, now the floor is 47 or 48. It's 48 now. I could have had another 4 ETH, which is, doesn't seem like a lot, but 4 ETH now is like fucking damn near 15 grand.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I could just made 15 grand if I either cared to just AFK my league game or if I'd never listed it in the first place, but at least it sold for a profit.
Do we know who swept the punks?
There's definitely a bunch of rumors privately. I haven't seen any of the alleged buyers come out and talk about it, so I don't want to throw any names around and get any people in trouble, but all I can say is it's not like a Chad Billionaire, which was my first hope. I was hoping it was just some, dumbass with a giant dick who is like, fuck it, 10 million's like 0.001% of my portfolio. I'm just gonna buy these pixelated dildo heads and ass eaters. And that's not what happened. So
Okay,
we'll
then
see
we don't
when
even
they
care.
mention it.
Fair.
I have PTSD. For the people who've been around for a while, they know that I worked at a startup called Fractional last cycle, and we had the famous July 2021 sweep, where this guy spent $10+ million sweeping a bunch of punks, and still maybe to this day the biggest punk sweep in one block. And they had the great idea to make a fractional vault, which is just a pool of ERC20 tokens that represent ownership of all the punks in the sweep. And then they tried to sell it for like a premium, like it was historical, when they just swept, all the ugliest punks at the lowest absolute prices. So eventually they pulled that off our platform and they sent it to like Christie's or Sotheby's. And then during the auction, the owner pulled it from the Christie's or Sotheby's auction. So that's what I think of when I think of punk sweeps. And seeing a punk sweep this size made me a little nervous because I had some PTSD flashbacks to the stupid shit that happened last cycle with punk sweeps.
What the
But we'll
fuck?
see what the entity does and how long. And maybe I don't know who it is, and maybe it's just all rumors. But we'll see what they say. I'm not mad my punk sold in the sweep. Like I wish I could sell it for 48, but I'm not like itching to rebuy the floor immediately based off of what I heard.
How much volume have you done all time trading punks?
That's a good question. I could probably tell you within like 10 seconds. Let's see.
I was trying to get Punk's OTC on as well. They won't do it.
I mean, he's done more volume than like everybody else combined. All right, here's my punk. So somewhere around 5.5 thousand ETH.
Which is how much?
Like over 20 million or around 20 million.
Damn. Jesus. How much has Punk's OTC done? Like 100 mil?
Oh, dude. Well, they have multiple accounts, but I mean, we could just take a gander at one of them and throw a number up there for fun. So the wallet that normally buys has bought 112,000 ETH worth, or 422 million, and just in that wallet, it has sold about 200 million. And then in their other wallet, they have sold another 200 million and bought 8 million. So, I mean,
Bought
you can just
8 million and
say
sold
like,
two.
you could basically say a billion. Yeah.
They're up 150 mil on punks in that wallet.
No. So that I was combining their like buying and selling.
Oh. Got it. That's insane.
So,
you could say close to a billion.
In volume, yeah. And that's
holy fuck.
I don't know how many that actually is. That's selling. Did they like break the punks website because their shit? So they've sold 752 punks in their main selling wallet, and then in their other wallet, dude, you have to scroll so fucking like, yeah, their other wallet they've sold 913, so like 1,600 plus punks, which is kind of crazy, but it's also less than I would think initially before I looked it up. I was expecting to see like 4,000.
Holy God.
But yeah, they're 24/7, 365. Within 5 minutes of anything remotely important happening in the punks market, they are acting.
So I don't think a lot of people, especially people that watch my stream, it's not an NFT crowd at all. It's so on chain. I don't even think they know what punks OTC is.
It's just this person or entity that market makes punks, and they're by far the most liquid and well-capitalized market maker of punks. So if you ever need to buy or sell, they're essentially always your liquidity. I think that would be the best way to explain it.
And they're just buying.
Their net goal is to stack punks, not ETH or USD. So they're only buying and selling with the idea that like their denominator is punks.
Have you ever talked to them?
So they have their own like proprietary model, and they have bots and shit that buy things that are under the price of their model, and it's like a fund basically.
Have you ever talked to them?
Just like privately
DMs.
in DMs and stuff, but not. I've never met them or anyone who represents them at like an event or anything.
And they're pretty like ruthless about buying and selling, right? Like you get hacked or something happens, it's like too fucking bad.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They're very just like very business-like. Like the price that you got yesterday is not the price today. Like you could have been working on a deal maybe, and that sweep happens, and it's like, well, if you didn't handshake on it, like you're paying 5 ETH more, which is it's fine. It's respectable. I don't hate or love it. But I think as they've spent more time in the Punks ecosystem, they've been a little more graceful, and shown a little bit more like maybe not strictly maximizing profit focused stuff. So I think they're like a net good for Punks. It's just it makes it really hard for the average. I spent a lot of time trading Punks. It makes it really hard for the average person like me to like even compete, because anything that's mispriced by 10% or more, which is like obviously a very nice margin, but anything that's mispriced by that or more, like it's getting bought immediately. You have no fucking hope as like a 60 IQ, no vibe coding, no coding, Midwestern idiot. So
And they've just been doing this all day, every day for years.
yeah, and there's days where maybe they don't even have a trade because the market's slow. But then there's days like yesterday. I think they tweeted that they were the one that helped with the sweep to make sure it executed correctly. So
Wow.
while that happened, they also bought some of their own to move the floors up. It's like they knew the floor was going to go up, so they bought the aesthetic mids that were previously 25% over the floor because they were available at like 10% over the floor.
Wow. That's like a whole nother like Galaxy type of game to play.
That's whale games, man. They have, I don't even know how many punks, 140 maybe.
Oh my god!
Across the two wallets.
So anything rare, like some zombies? How many punks do you have? How many punks do you have?
I only have 3. Only 3 left.
You have the hoodie, and then
the hoodie, Mrs. DeeZe's VR
Mrs.
Blonde,
Yes.
and the best stoner punk in the collection.
And you had 4, but you just sold 1.
Yeah. At one point, my full port was like 16 punks when they were 4 or 5 ETH. Like I was full port punks. I sold all my DeFi stuff and just bought as many punks as I could.
Seriously, you had 16 punks?
Yeah, when I was like market making them back in the day.
Whoa, I didn't even know that. What do you think? What's the floor right now? What would that be worth?
I mean, I definitely outpaced it. 16 punks would be like 3.2 million.
Damn.
So we outpaced that. We're good. We're even after taxes and everything, it was better to sell them because we sold those in like minted art blocks and shit. Like you can't beat the option to buy a Fidenza underneath. That's
Did you buy
like,
a Fidenza underneath? You minted a Fidenza?
Yeah, the one behind me, the like scarlet and gray one, call it like Ohio State Fidenza. I think I bought that one for like 0.3 ETH the day they came out.
And what's the floor right now? Like 40?
Yeah, I actually don't own any anymore. I just have the prints. Kind of a phony, but sold them all over the years. Yeah, just the opportunity cost of holding them is too much.
Fair.
And it's worked out. Like if you compare it, I sold the Fidenza, the black one behind me. And I bought the skull. Like I sold a Fidenza and a ringer and then bought the skull.
Whoa.
And the skull is up from 60 ETH to over 100 ETH, and ETH is up. So whereas the Fidenza is down, if I just held it in ETH, I would have lost. So
can you give me some lore, and for the people in the chat, can you give me some lore on like the OG Punks Discord?
It was just like, think of crypto Twitter but smaller and only focused on punks and NFT, and it kind of felt like that, where you could just go in and talk, and everybody was treated pretty much just like a nerd who was open-minded, and just like it was the only place to go for NFT news. Like there was no like newsletters or anything either, so you would just be sitting in Discord talking to all these fucking nerds who have spent hours looking at punks. Like you go to these events and you talk to these people, and there's people who spent like 5,000 hours, it feels like, looking at fucking punks. And maybe that's a little hyperbolic, maybe it's not 5,000 hours, but there's a lot of people who spent a lot of time looking at these fucking things. And in that Discord, the love of this collection was very apparent back then. You had people who had every single attribute, like from beanie to like earring. Like they had a punk for every attribute. You had all these collectors who were trying to hoard as many as they could of whatever, you know, sets they liked. And it was just like super wholesome. You know, Snowfro was a mod. Snowfro went on to found Artblocks. So
Snowfro
anyone
was
who's
a mod?
yeah, Snowfro was a mod in the Punks Discord. Snowfro claimed a bunch of punks, and then he bought and traded them ever since they were claimable. And he was in the Discord forever. So like he's been one of the mods for a long time. So when the high signal thing for art blocks was like Snowfro was selling zombie punks to fund art blocks. So the people who knew Snowfro knew he really cared about punks. It was like his favorite thing ever. And instead of holding them, he was selling them to fund his, you know, idea of a generative art platform. And everyone in the punks Discord saw that happen, and they're like, "Oh, like we fucking love Snowfro. Like we're just gonna mint squiggles." And you had this giant wealth effect of like nerds who were just friendly in Discord, who are just talking. Like we were spending 8+ hours a day. Punk's Discord was the type of Discord that when you woke up, the first thing you should do is you should open up your phone and check the Punk's Discord to see what happened overnight. Like that was the type of Discord it was.
It's just filled with chats, right? Like seed phrase and
yeah, the craziest thing about the Punks Discord was that I met Matt from Avenged Sevenfold, the lead singer, in the Punks Discord, and I had no idea who he was because his handle in Discord is like mshadows666. 666, yeah, 3 6s. And I just thought he was like a fan of the band and just was like talking to him about punks all the time. And then like 3 or 4 months later, he like DMs me about a guitar and some other stuff from the band, and I was like, wait, what? Fuck do you mean? Like
who are you? Yeah,
like crazy shit like that was happening. I mean, it was a big deal. It felt like when like Gary Vee joined and was telling all of his rich friends to buy punks around that like Top Shot wave you came in on. That when the Discord started blowing up.
Whoa.
And it became less of like there got to a point where you couldn't check it when you woke up because there's just too many messages. That was a sign that we were going downhill vibes wise, but price was still going up, so it didn't matter.
Do you think we'll ever get anywhere close to where we were peak NFTs 2021?
Like in price for punks, or just in general, like euphoria around NFTs?
Euphoria, all-time volume, price action.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see punks get back to that price. I would be a little more surprised to see the same mania we had from, let's just say, like late July 2021 to September, where we were just minting out anything for like millions of dollars and just being cool with it. I feel like that's been kind of replaced by meme coins, and I don't really see too many people going back to like do you remember some of the shit we used to mint, man? I mean, every day there was emails we would get. I forget there's like an influencer who had a mailing list of all the mints that were coming out for the week. And you would have like fucking, what?
Was it Zeneca? It wasn't Zeneca, was it?
It might have been. He had the floor spreadsheet, but it might have been someone else.
The floor spreadsheet, that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah, that's how Zeneca got popular. He would just like make the Blur homepage before the Blur homepage existed. And it just became this, you know, stupid thing where we were just minting and extracting so much. Like at least with the mint, I don't know. I feel like the meme coins kind of replaced the minting of just like dog shit 10K PFPs. But I do think we get back to some of the prices on the higher end stuff. I think the Ethereum crowd is just built different too. I had that thesis with Solana where Solana ran and people would run, you know, from any meme coin they made a lot of money on and maybe buy an NFT on Solana they cared a lot about, but that didn't really work. Like Mad Lads I mean DGods, God bless, that can't even mention that price, but like Mad Lads, Tensorians, all the shit that I was holding that I was like, oh, this is going up, like this is good, this could keep going up. It just kind of cratered when the meme coin stuff happened, and there were certainly some people who, you know, took some profit and bought NFTs with it, but not nearly the level that you see on ETH. And it's just like a slightly different culture. So I've had to adjust. I don't like buy NFTs on Solana much at all anymore.
Solana NFT culture just like never really happened. I feel like it tried to, it sorted it a little bit, and then it just it local topped, and that was it.
Yeah, I think because too much of the Solana market, you know, the average Solana market participant, I think just cares more about money and less about culture. That's like sounds like something, maybe boomer or uncle to say, but when I think of the ETH crowd, I feel like they do care about culture a bit more. Not necessarily the founders of
Well, I
ETH,
also think there's a lot more like old money on ETH.
for sure. Well,
So
it's
you
just
can
been around
care
for so
about
much
culture. It's
longer.
easier to like care about the art if you like have 10 instead of
If you
1.
bought ETH for 30 cents at the
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
ICO
yeah.
price, like yeah, it's really easy to care about the culture. Um, so it is a little different, but I I don't think we're gonna see that, stupid mint new stuff. I think it's gonna be more of the older stuff or like novel new stuff that does something in a way that hasn't been done before that gets people's attention. Um, and I'm kind of waiting for Pac to come back. You remember him? Like I feel
That's when
like
you sell.
I feel as soon as ETH hits all time high, you're gonna see some mastermind Pac drop of just we took cubes and we combined them with spheres and now we have tetrahedrons and we're gonna fucking mint a bazillion of them for $1 and you can combine them and it's just gonna be the most historical thing you've ever seen.
For the people that are new and playing the NFTs, I think you sell when a couple people come back. You sell if Pac comes back. You sell
Brian
if,
Carson,
you sell
Kevin
if
Rose.
Brian Carson and Kevin Rose come back. You sell if 888 Crypto comes back. And you sell if
NFT God switches his profile picture back to a Bored Ape.
sell it all and come back to this clip and thank me.
Yeah, there's definitely it's a weird thing thinking about selling right now too, because if you look at just past runs, it's hard. Like when you make a new all-time high like Bitcoin just did, you normally have, more of the run. Like to me, this is like the second leg. We had the first leg when Trump was elected. We ranged, and now we're having our second leg. It's like this is still gonna go on, I think, for longer than people might realize. So I'm trying not to sell everything, like especially not smoking. Like you're constantly just thinking, like this is so fucking stupid. Like I just need to sell this.
Dude, I'm kind of in the camp of nothing's really happened yet, which maybe is insane because Bitcoin's 120 and like I did this in 2024. I was like, nothing's happened yet. Meanwhile, AI coins are at 15 bill. But like, I'm still sort of in the camp that it hasn't really gotten that crazy.
Oh no, we're not seeing. I think like the major red flags come up nearly as often. So like I don't see us being talked about as much in like viral talk show clips. I feel like that's something that comes out near the top.
Yep.
I did get some bad news. I got a text from a friend who wanted to learn how to futures trade.
Oh, that's not good.
And wanted to know how to get on Hyperliquid. So I told him, don't waste your time doing it. You're going to lose all your money. And if you still want to do it, you'll figure out how to get on there without me telling you. And then I've had my dad text me about Ripple. So that one was in like 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's tough. When you get the Ripple text from like an older relative, you can't say bottom of the first inning anymore.
No, you can't. You could say
this is a good time though to stick to the screenshot rule too. If you find yourself making dumb money and you're taking a screenshot of it to send to your wife, your partner, your friends, whatever, like just sell some when you take the fucking screenshot. Yeah. That's always served me well.
You think Punk's making a new all-time high this cycle in USD?
This cycle, I think if Ethereum makes a new all-time high, Punk's probably do too. Yeah.
What's all-time high? Like 500K?
Yeah, around there, 400 or 500K. I think clean break of 500K and sustain it for more than a day is like a fair level to say. There's just not that many of them. Like I constantly go back to, I think Bitcoin or punks are going to outperform, and obviously the demand for Bitcoin is just like exponentially higher. But there's also exponentially more Bitcoins than punks. And I do think like I'm so biased from my early experience in the punks Discord that anyone listening to me should always be thinking about that first and foremost. But like I think it is easy to see punks outperform Bitcoin. Or if you're watching that ratio, anytime when these two things are trading, if you can get a punk for less than one whole Bitcoin, generally feels like a good bet to make.
I bought a lot of Bitcoin not that long ago.
All in, baby.
And I was very much like I should not buy one of these Bitcoins and I should buy a punk. And I just didn't do it. And now I'm like, fuck. Now I'm kicking myself a little bit. But
anytime a punk's near like 50K, I'm always thinking to myself, like, what can I sell to maybe buy another one of these? It's a tough thing. I see the chat He says, do we think coins can't run as much because there's so many more, which keeps hype at bay? Do you think that is something that NFTs didn't have as much of a problem with because it took a little bit more time to get out a fucking NFT collection? And that was something that was nice about trading them. You had such a limited supply of shit to actually trade. And that's kind of why I was going back to them again, because in my head, like, the supply is still limited because it's just, you don't have any new people coming to NFTs right now. It's all people who have the common knowledge of like the NFT canon from 2021 to now. So like they're just buying the old shit that they remember being expensive that isn't expensive. Like they're not looking at what came out in the last year or two that hasn't, you know, been a part of a previous bull run. They're just looking at, you know, what worked last time and buying that. So I do think if you can identify maybe a couple things that could appreciate this cycle that, you know, either didn't exist last cycle or didn't get the love last cycle, it's something good to do. But with tokens, it makes it a lot harder to have conviction in anything when it's newer. Like for me, when I'm buying a less than a day old shitcoin, I just assume it's going to go to zero. And just like most of the time, unless I see it mentioned in a group chat, it does go to zero. And if I see it mentioned in other group chats, then I check it. But it's hard to really believe in any of the stuff unless you have somehow been following a team or have information that isn't just like explicitly public about the plans for the token. But I do think that means attention just consolidates to the winners and you can just piggy tail on the stronger coins and get good gains. Like you're not going to probably make 100x on a good coin, but you can make 5-10x's, even more at times.
You know what I think you can draw a parallel to NFTs to the meme coins right now? It's like, okay, there wasn't, you know, there's obviously way more meme coins coming out every day than NFTs, but there definitely was an inflection point where all of a sudden there's a new hyped NFT mint every single day, every day, continuously for weeks. And I think what happened is like a lot of these, you know, the one that comes to mind is like Little Lemon Friends. I don't know why that's the only one I can think of. They like rip for a couple days, there's some fun price action, and then they go to zero, and then Bored Apes leg up again. Azuki leg up again, Punk's leg up again. And basically the same thing is sort of happened in meme coins where it's like, there's a fun new coin, it comes out, it rips to 10 mil, maybe goes to 25, gets a lot of hype, but then Pengu, 1.5 to 2 bill, SPX leg up, Pepe leg up, Mog leg up. And the big ones just keep legging up while all the other small things sort of like play in their own little circle. And occasionally you get a new one break out and become a quote unquote blue chip. Like Azuki was like fairly new compared to Punks and Apes in that crowd. But all
Suzuki was also just like incredibly well done.
Well
like,
done.
When it came out, you knew something was different with how they presented it and how much care went into it. Like I only own now, I think like one Azuki, and I sold my anime airdrop as soon as I got it. But the Azuki drop, I still remember it being like, oh, this is like a different caliber of thing coming out, and people were gladly paying like 2 ETH for the beans pre-reveal back then, and that ended up being a really, really good trade. Going back to what you just said about some of the bigger coins too, like I keep going back to Mog, and this is another one where it's like kind of like the Punks Discord where I'm just friends with so many people who own Mog, so maybe my relative mind share is off. But when I see SPX at like 2 billion and I see Mog at 600 mil, you know, I find it hard to believe I can get a 5x on SPX and go from 2 to 10 billion. But if SPX goes to like 5 or 6, would you be surprised if Mog is 2 or 3? And then you get a better return holding Mog than SPX.
I like the Mog comp to the Punks Discord.
It's my bias. It's the same thing with Rect. I told you Rect became 8% of my fucking portfolio because I just invested in the Angel round because I like OSF, and I didn't put I put the minimum amount in because I'm an idiot and I didn't know there would ever be a token or anything. I thought it was just equity in the company, and I was like, cool, like you helped. One thing I try to do in crypto is anytime somebody helps me win, I try to like somewhere down the line invest in what they're doing. So like for the people who don't know OSF and Mando, back in 2021 when they launched their first NFT collection, I hosted the Twitter space for the drop. It was a project called DeeZe's art in hindsight. Dude, the art in hindsight looks a little cringe. It kind of failed. They tried some things. They had the NFT reports.
They tried really hard.
They were trying a bunch of things. Like they never just gave up and were like, "Hey, fuck this! Like we're just actually out." they had they redid all the art and then called it regens, and you had to burn your degens to get the regens.
The regens, I remember that. It was so good.
And then eventually OSF remembered that, I'm an artist, I can make art. And then he made Wrecked Guy, and all the people who had the regens and degens and shit, they got Wrecked Guy. And Wrecked Guy, obviously you ended up getting Wrecked token. So like, this is somebody who, for 3 years before I made the investment or whatever, I had been like watching grind his ass off. So when he was talking about what he wanted to do with Wrecked, it's a very obvious, at the minimum, like 10K check. Like you just got to write small amount or something. Especially when you've made more. Like if I've made 20K selling Wrecked Guys because I got them for free, like it would be rude of me to not put 5 or 10 grand back into whatever he's doing.
Yeah. Damn. That guy's just different.
But that fucking token's ridiculous. It's like I had the thought today that I'm like, wow, Wrecked might actually flip Mog, and that kind of just destroys my whole mental model of ETH shitcoins.
It's the real. It's the real ICM.
Yeah, they're doing things that are actually like physical products that have some demand.
Yeah, people actually care about.
What?
And people actually care about. Like people actually want.
Oh, people really care about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I have my on the other hand, I have my ICM 250K market cap shitcoin that has like a energy mix that's a better liquid IV. And I like the product, so like I just hold the token. I'm down like $4 grand on it.
Wait, what's the token?
Poggers.
Oh, word. That's hilarious.
Remember when Launchcoin was just going ballistic? And then everybody was on those dashboards looking at like, what are the next coins on Launchcoin?
Does anything have a single user? Like, what's the deal here?
Well, dude, the cool thing about Poggers was I looked at it, and the guy is a TSM Halo coach, and we have like 50 mutuals from the gaming space. So then I DM'd a couple of my mutuals just because I figured, like, this TSM Halo coach, if my old Halo pro friends don't know him, that's a red flag. And they were all like, yeah, he's a nice guy. Like, I don't have anything bad to say about him. So I was all right, fuck it.
Fuck it, I'll buy it.
Yeah, I'll buy some.
That's hilarious.
And now, yeah, it's just, I bought the product after I bought the token. I'm like, okay, I like the product regardless of the token. But I don't see much shit like that. I think they don't have like tradable tokens. Like the stuff I think of when it comes to more of like consumer products, like they don't really have tokens for it.
All right, what are the last things
I'm trying to find the next one. Like, what's the next rack?
Yeah, what is the next rack?
Maybe it's racked.
Maybe just buy my racked, yeah. One of the last things I want to ask you is like, where do you think the most opportunity in the market is right now?
Depends on what you're good at. Are you saying like if you're just like a average person, like you don't code?
Yeah. You don't have like technical edge, or founder edge, or like info edge.
It would depend on your bankroll, but I do think there is. It depends on what you're good at, right? Like something in crypto that I think is really important is just getting good at one thing or like two things and just doing it over and over and over again to extract as much money as you have with that edge, and then realize when it dries up, like you got to find something else. So right now, it's tough. Like depending on what type of person they are, depends on where they would have the most opportunities. If you're somebody who is very neurotic and type B, like you probably don't want to try trading perps or like meme coins on a short time frame. You probably want to sit down and come up with some type of thesis to buy a token that lets you hold it for multiples, and that's like really boring and it doesn't have a lot of action. But I think as I've gotten older and made more money, like my edge is not in trading small sizes at small prices. It is at just buying and holding a few good things for long periods of time. But right now, I mean, I would be watching popular NFTs. I think there's probably like free money to pick up between looking at Gandhi and Blur, seeing if there's any disparities in prices and bids, and trying to market make some of that stuff. Think with meme coins, you have to be a little more dialed in and laser focused. And I think Bonk is like where you want to look going forward, at least for now. Like you want to keep an eye on the Launchpad wars, and you probably want to care a little bit more about what's launching on what's winning, because you have a feedback loop of like users are making money on this platform and they're trying to make more money on the platform, so they're chasing, the next runner. And if you have more volume and more shit happening on Bonk, like, you're gonna have better opportunities there. That's how I think of it. But it really depends. Like, everybody needs to know themselves, I guess, would be my number one thing. Like, you need to know the type of person you are and what you're good and bad at, and you have to be honest with yourself, which is hard. But crypto makes you have to be honest with yourself, because you have a fucking profit and loss statement that tells you at the end of the day, like it doesn't lie, right? Like, you could have good process, bad results, but you got to be able to at least know that you have a good process. You can't just be scrolling the timeline and just praying that like a nut falls out of a tree into your lap, because that probably isn't the best way to go about it. I'll also say, I don't know how much money they're making, but I do see a lot of people clipping now. I think you're always on my timeline.
Have you seen my clips?
Jack. Yeah, because Jack's everywhere on my For You page, probably because I watch the clips. But I think there might be stuff going on there. Some group reached out to me. They made like a website to basically like pay clippers bounties for views and shit.
It's like the WAP thing.
Which I thought. What?
It's like what WAP does with clippers as well.
Yeah, maybe. But it was just interesting to me to see, like, you got another micro job. And I think the nice thing about clipping that is different than most other side hustles is it, in a way, has unlimited upside based on the virality, because you're getting paid per view. Mm-hmm. And if you get something that does get, like, think of that stupid thing last week where it was like, tell me about the lore.
Yeah. That got
that
like
thing
fucking
like a billion views.
Yeah, it's insane. Everyone quote tweets it and it just like stacks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that there's viral clips like that get a billion views, but there is a lot of, I think, upside there, and just how it scales with paying. But other than that, man, it's tough, because you have to know yourself. Like, if you're good at coding and you can fucking code bots and make money as a builder, like, you should definitely do that. Like, I would much rather be the Photon guys or any of these other people making hundreds of millions of dollars on fees than I would be the traders generating the fees. Like, if you can build a tool that a bunch of people are going to use, like, that's the best thing you can do, because you don't have any financial downside, really. I mean, you have some downside in your equity and whatever you're building and your time and stuff, but that's the best. It's just also one of the hardest things to do.
Wow. That's so sick you're seeing my clips. That's actually hype.
Dude, I see him every day because of Jack. I see Jack on my timeline constantly.
That's so awesome. Shout out to Jack. That's my goat.
That's how I keep up with the pod, honestly, or the show. Because most of the time I'm out.
That's what I've realized is I used to get really self-conscious or like put extra emphasis over live viewers. And I'm like, wait, everyone is just going to see the best parts in 30-second bites on the timeline. Like, let's just optimize for clips.
Yeah, it works. I mean, I think a lot of people just, at least for me, you stream from, what is it, like 4 to 6 p.m.?
Yeah, I'm PST. It's 1:30 to like 4.
Yeah.
So like
like so 4:30 to 7.
4:30 to 7.
That's like a time where normally I'm like outside, come back, shower, go get dinner. And then it's like just a weird time. I see chat ask, do I buy any stocks? I do have a stock portfolio that's super boring. I basically just every quarter take some percent of my crypto profit post tax, and I buy the S&P 500. It's really boring, but I have thought about the need to fire up my Robinhood account again. I haven't used it since like 2018. I blew myself up trading options because I was on Reddit like a fucking idiot. But yeah, I think stocks, once you get to a certain point, like, and I have a wife and, trying to start a family. So I have this more financial burden for myself. Like, if you're a younger person who's like, say, under the age of 25 and you're single, I probably wouldn't even own stocks, dude. Or like, if I did, I would just rather own Bitcoin. Like, the only reason at all I own stocks and a couple bonds and shit is for financial security for my family and tax purposes.
Yeah, fair.
Like, it does become worth, I think, like maxing out shit like your Roth IRA and any money you can roll over to your traditional and stuff. It's really boring. It's just like tax effective and maybe optimal if you're going to be alive for 60 plus years. But
yeah, Fair take.
I know what I'm good at. Like I know where my edges are, and like I don't really have an edge buying stocks. Am I gonna sit here and say my edge is thinking that more idiots are gonna buy a treasury company ticker at an even more inflated like people are buying things that don't even hold like 10% of what the stock is worth, and the stock has nothing going for it except it holds crypto. Like I don't want to bet on that shit.
Exactly.
And I also don't think I have an edge in other, stock market stuff. Like I don't think I can predict earnings correctly. So I just don't. I stay away from it. Like I can look at a picture and guess if another idiot with a bunch of money like me would pay more for the picture in the future, and that's more what I focus on.
And more into the pictures.
I just like I know the pictures and I know the type of people who buy the pictures. Like I don't have that edge anywhere else, so I stick a lot to the pictures.
That's like the best quote from the day. DeeZe, it was a pleasure, man. I love having you on every single time. We have to do it again.
Dude, I'm always available. Let me know whenever. Always down to talk. Hopefully we get more NFT action.
Yeah, hopefully. Also, keep the goatee, dude. I like it. I'm into it.
Yeah, I feel like I look like 10 years. I look like 10 years older with it. Like
you do look older with it.
It's kind of weird, but I do like having something on my face. Like it fills out a pretty plain face.
I don't hate it at all. It's a good look.
We'll keep it, man. Thanks for having me.
You're the goat, dude.
Thanks, chat, for listening to us bullshit.
You'll see some Jax clips all over the timeline, hopefully.
Hell yeah.